What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and today we're here in my office, as you can see, and I'm finally bringing you guys an updated manga collection video. Now, this is a video I was supposed to do at some point last year, toward the later end of the year, and I never got around to doing it, but ain't no time like the present. Y'all know me, man. When it comes to like scheduling and just being punctual and everything like that, at least content-wise, in my day-to-day life, I'm normally a little bit better about that kind of thing, but with YouTube, it's such a lax job that I don't really be on top of it sometimes like I'm supposed to, but better late than never, as I always say, and as I'm sure you guys have heard time and time again. But yeah, man, the collection has grown a lot over the years. I've started collecting, I'd say, officially in about 2015, and here we are almost 10 years later. Damn, I've been collecting for almost 10 years now. That's crazy to think, and the collection has grown quite a lot over the years. So without too much further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it, man. I don't have the exact volume count off the top of my head, but I'm sure I'll have it in the title by the time you're seeing this video, so let's get into it. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the very first series in the collection, and that is Manga Kill. And I just mean like the first series on the shelf. This was not the first series I bought. I'm pretty sure the first volume of manga I ever bought was Volume 1 of Naruto and Volume 1 of Dragon Ball Z. I probably bought those together at the same time, and probably also Volume 1 of Dragon Ball. I'm pretty sure those were the first three volumes I ever bought, and I bought them all together. That's neither here nor there. We got Manga Kill volumes 1 through 15, and that is the complete series of Manga Kill. Admittedly, to this day, I've never finished reading the entirety of the manga. It's just one of the very few series in my collection where that's the case. That won't be the case forever, but for now, it just is. And I know it's been that way for years now. It's like, well, if you ain't gotten to it yet, when are you ever going to get to? Listen, man, I'm the type of guy that, like, it can oftentimes take me years to do something. Like when it comes to leisurely activities like that, like I'm never in any rush or hurry to, like, you know what I'm saying, complete something, you know what I mean? I take everything in life at my own pace, and that includes collecting and reading manga and watching anime and everything like that. So yeah. And then moving on, we have Bleach, volumes 1 through 16, and then 17 through 24 down there. And then we also have this Ichigo figure sent to me by the big homie Rhymestyle. Shout out to him for that. He copied that while he was out in Japan because he thought I would like it, and he sent it over to me, so that was cool. And then you'll see up here we also have this 20th anniversary special edition volume for volume 1 that I thought was really cool. And even though I obviously already have volume 1, I thought this was worth adding to the collection. I really like how it's all white and red, and I think the spine looks really cool, which I've always loved the design for Bleach's spines, and I just, you know, like Bleach's designs and artwork and everything in general. I also find it interesting that for volume 1, it's not like Kubo's updated like art or like a new style or anything. It is still like the original, like what Bleach looked like back then compared to what it looks like, you know, today, like the 1,000 Year Blood War style or whatever. Speaking of, Bleach fans is up so good right now. I'm not like a die-hard Bleach fan. I like the series a lot, but I didn't get into it like back in the day with you know, Naruto. You know, we always said that the big three, the original big three, is Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. And I got into Naruto like fairly young, but it took me quite a while before I tried out Bleach and then realized how much I liked it. But between the 1,000 Year Blood War anime coming back and that new Bleach Rebirth of Souls game, yeah, Bleach fans is up good right now, and I'm looking forward to both of those. So yeah, volumes 1 through 24, and then moving on here we have Blue Box, which, so my favorite ongoing manga right now is a series called Twin Star Exorcist, which you'll see in the collection a little bit later. However, that series is about to end very, very soon. I think there's only like 1 or 2 chapters left before that series actually comes to an end. And when that does end, I think my new favorite ongoing series will be this one right here, Blue Box. This is a slice of life romance sports series about these 2 student athletes who end up living together and then start to develop, you know, feelings for each other and everything like that. Well, okay, so the main character is this boy right here who plays badminton, and this girl who plays basketball. And her mom like leaves for work or whatever, like leaves Japan, and she ends up having to move in with him. And he's like, yo, I don't really know how to navigate this because I've been crushing on this girl for a minute, and this is like mad weird and awkward now that she's living with me, and I don't want to feel like some scumbag or some jerk or whatever. And this is like, so he completely tries to like shut off his feelings and pretend like he don't feel how he feel or whatever to be normal. And that's one of the things that I appreciate a lot about this series, is that it's pretty like normal, like it's pretty grounded in reality for the most part. And it's about as realistic as a manga could portray that situation going down in real life, because there's like no like, oh no, I walked in on her while she's in the bathroom and I saw her naked, and oh my goodness, like I tripped and fell and now her boob is in my hand. Like it doesn't do anything like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like a really wholesome, sweet, like pretty realistic story that I enjoy quite a lot, and I highly recommend if you haven't checked it out before. I love slice of life stuff, romance stuff, I love sports stuff as well. I'm also a huge basketball fan, so like the little basketball tidbits you get here and there are cool for me. And the badminton sections where the guys playing badminton is actually really interesting as well. So If it sounds cool at all to you, I highly recommend it. Definitely give that a try. Then we have Boruto, which I don't think I have to speak too much about Boruto. Everybody knows about Boruto at this point. If you're not reading Twin Blue Vortex, I think it's pretty good, but that's just me. But here we have volumes 1 through 11, and I actually don't know are they printing those volumes out? I don't think so, right? Because there's not that many chapters out. I don't even know if they have enough for a full volume yet. But I wonder, is it going to be like a whole new like design and aesthetic and like spines and everything like that? I assume so, right? Or is it just going to be a continuation, or would they do it like they did with Naruto? I don't really know, but I'll be copying it regardless because I like Boruto and I just love the world of Naruto and all its characters. So that's just me. Moving on, we have Busou Rankin, volumes 1 through 10, and that is the complete series of Busou Rankin. This is a story written and illustrated by Nobuhiro Watsuki, who is not someone I really support anymore, but at the time, you know, I was a big fan of his prior to us finding out the scumbag that he is. So yeah, it just is what it is. Nobuhiro Watsuki is the guy who made Rurouni Kenshin, for those of you who aren't aware, and if you're not aware about what I'm referring to, I'm sure if you Google his name, you'll figure it out. I did consider like getting rid of some of I have 2 series that are by him. That would be this and Rurouni Kenshin. I thought about getting rid of them when that stuff came out, but at the end of the day, like I decided not to, and it's still something I think about, but it's just not something that I ever did. But I wouldn't blame anybody who does. Moving on, we have Dead Man Wonderland, volumes 1 through 13. One of my favorite series. This was a top 10 favorite series all time for me at one point. I don't know if it still is, but I still enjoy it quite a lot. I haven't gone back to it to read it in quite some time, but I know at the time I liked it a lot, and I love Jinsei Kataoka's artwork. I think her designs and aesthetic and everything are absolutely gorgeous. There's another series that you'll see here in just a little bit that I picked up simply because it was illustrated by her, and I ended up enjoying it quite a lot. This is a story about a kid named Ganta Igarashi and this girl Shiro right here, and Ganta basically got framed for the assassination of his entire classroom of students, and then he gets shipped off to this prison called Dead Man Wonderland, where the prisoners are subject to these like games of death, where the audience thinks that like, oh, it's special effects and everything like that, but in reality, like, no, these people are actually dying. And then you end up seeing that they have like these abilities to like control their blood and use it as different weapons and everything like that. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool. I like it a lot. I think it's a really dope story. Then we have Death Note, volumes 1 through 12. That is a complete series of Death Note. Everybody knows Death Note. I don't need to talk about that one too much. And similarly, we have Demon Slayer, volumes 1 through 23. Also, real quick on Death Note, I have the box set for this, so I have volume 13, like the how to read joint. The box is somewhere buried in like one of my side closets where I keep like all the boxes and like shoe boxes for my collection and stuff. So it's just, I didn't feel like going and grabbing it. It's not that big a deal, but yeah. Then we have Demon Slayer 1 through 23, complete series for Demon Slayer. I got the box set for that. Y'all who know Demon Slayer. I will say though, as much as I enjoy Demon Slayer and I like the manga, Demon Slayer is one of the very few series where I do think the anime is actually a decent bit better, and it just elevates the source material to a whole new level. Just because it's so beautifully animated and the music is so good and everything like that. Demon Slayer is one of those series where I'm like, yeah, they take the source material and really take it to another level. And then we have Dr.Stone, volumes 1 through 2, a series that I picked up when it started coming out. I liked it. I guess not enough to continue picking it up, so I never got more of it. But one of these days, I think I want to go back to it, but I don't know. Then we have Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, volumes 1 through 16. You'll see through 16 up there, just to have it all like here on this one shelf. But yeah, man, Dragon Ball, I don't have to talk too much about it, but I will, because I feel like there's too many Dragon Ball fans out there that have never actually read the original Dragon Ball, which to me is crazy, because I think it's the best part in the entire franchise. I think the story where it all starts is the best stuff in the entirety of the Dragon Ball series. If you've never read it, never watched it, I do think you are missing out on a lot. It's worth the read, bro. Please do yourself a favor and read it, man. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama, one of the greatest to ever do it. Maybe the greatest to ever do it. I don't know. One of the most iconic, influential creators of all time. And that doesn't just apply to like anime and manga, just like in this world. Like, he is one of the most influential and iconic people to like have ever walked the face of the earth, I feel like. Because like what he's done goes so far beyond just anime and manga when it comes to people he's influenced. But of course, moving on, we have volumes 1 through 26 of Dragon Ball Z. Always thought it was really cool how like they have this artwork on the spines, by the way, that continues across the entire series. You see that on Dragon Ball, you see that on Dragon Ball Z, and you see it again with Dragon Ball Super. But yeah, man, and don't get me wrong, as much as I love the original Dragon Ball, I like all of Dragon Ball. That goes for Z, Super, and even GT. And honestly, I'm surprised. I guess I shouldn't because it's not canon, right? But I'm surprised they never made like a GT manga, because I mean, there's so many series that we've seen, and I'll have some in this collection where it starts as an anime and then the manga comes afterward. I'm surprised they never did that with Dragon Ball, because you'd think they just want to, you know, just kind of cash grab or monetize that, or, you know what I'm saying? Because I would buy it, but whatever. Then we have Dragon Ball Super 1 through 21. Dragon Ball Super has actually been surprisingly difficult to collect, and I don't know why. It feels like in these last few years, manga collecting has become more difficult, because obviously there are certain series that are just out of print, so they're really hard to find and they're very expensive. But that doesn't apply to a series like Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is a super popular series that should always be in print and be readily available. But like volume 14 through like 17, maybe 18, were like always out of stock, hard to find, and especially, which one is it? Is it 16 with granola on the cover? No, is it 14? Is it 14? I can't remember which one it is, man. One of these volumes, whichever one has granola on the cover, was like extremely hard for me to find and get a hold of. Is it 17? No? Am I high? 18? I might be drunk. Which one of these has granola on the cover? Yo, hold on. I'm tripping. It's not 13, 14, 15. Okay, no, it was 16. My fault. I'm losing my mind over here. I was like, wait a minute, where did he go? This volume right here was so hard to track down, bro. Like, I don't understand why this one is out of stock everywhere, constantly not in print. Is it because it's so popular? Because this arc is so far? Because I think this is probably the best arc in Dragon Ball Super. Okay, it's between this and the Moral arc, right? I think the Super manga is so much better than the Super anime. Like, the stuff that comes after the Tournament of Power is so much better than the Tournament of Power to me. But that's just me. That's just me. But yeah, I don't know why the supply is not really there to meet the demand lately when it comes to series. Like, you could argue that, oh, it's Dragon Ball, so it's super popular, so it's always out of print, blase, blase, blah. But like, that was never an issue for me, like my first several years of like collecting manga. So I don't know why that suddenly became a problem, but it is what it is. We have volumes 1 through 21 here, and then we have Fire Force, which volumes 1 through 22, I think this series wrapped up. I mean, well, I know the manga ended quite a while ago, and I think they finally have all the volumes in English print, but I haven't been collecting it lately. But Fire Force is a series written and illustrated by Atsushi Okubo, who is the creator of Soul Eater, which, funnily enough, I'm wearing a Soul Eater shirt right now. I don't know when the public opinion on this series shifted, because when Fire Force came out, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really cool. I remember I did a vlog like back when the first volume came out, and I like was reading the first volume like in Books a Million. I was like, damn, this shit pretty tight. Like I picked it up and I liked it a lot. And so when the anime came out, I was telling everybody like, yo, this is about to be gas. Like, y'all gonna let us da 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 da. I expected it to be really popular. And then it came out and people hated it. And it got a lot of hate because of the fan service that's within it, which I'm like, there's definitely a couple of moments that are like a little bit egregious, right? But there's a character in the series where like the whole gag with her is that like her clothes get ripped off, you know what I'm saying? And like, I can understand people disliking that. My gripe with that has always been like, I feel like people is faking it, bro. Like, I feel like the outrage and the criticism of that is so fake and forced because, no pun intended, there are so many series out there with similar stuff, or like really big-breasted girls that are constantly plastered all over the place and like hardly wearing any clothes. Like, the fan service and like ecchi stuff in anime and manga is extremely prevalent and extremely popular. So I always thought it was really weird that Fire Force of all series got the criticism that it did for having something like that, but other series don't. And I don't know. I don't know when everybody decided to have an issue with anime titty, but apparently that happened with Fire Force. But then I don't know. Like the anime, like season 2 came out and everyone was like, wait, this shit's kind of fire. Again, no pun intended. I gotta work on my vocabulary. But I don't know. It seems like now I feel like the public opinion is kind of like shifted back toward people be like, oh wait, actually this series is pretty dope though. I like it. That's all that matters to me. Moving on, we have Fooly Cooly volumes. So here we have like a special edition of like volume 1. I don't know if they ever actually made one for volume 2 like this, but there's that. And then we have volume 1 and 2 down here. This is a series that was printed by Tokyo Pop, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, that was Tokyo Pop, which is like, doesn't exist anymore. I don't recommend the Fooly Cooly manga for anybody who's interested in it or checking it out. And I know that might come as a shock to anybody who knows me because I'm such a huge Fooly Cooly fan. But Fooly Cooly's manga is one of those series, like I mentioned earlier, where the manga came after the anime. And the anime is just infinitely better. Like, if you ever want to experience Fooly Cooly, just watch the anime. Like, this is only worth having because I'm such a huge Fooly Cooly fanboy that I just wanted it in the collection just because it says FLCL on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever read, but it doesn't compare. Not even close. Then we have Volume 1 of Food Wars, which I bought a long time ago and never collected more of. I really enjoyed the anime when it came out, and I watched like the first 3, maybe 4 seasons of it. Thought it was extremely entertaining, super good. Wanted to collect the manga, bought Volume 1, and never got more of it. Which, maybe that's for the best, because from what I understand, when that series ended, it ended kind of abruptly, because one of the creators that was working on it, because you can see there's multiple people who worked on that series. Somebody that was on the team, I don't remember who at this point, I knew at the time, but one of those people working on it left the team, and then the series took a huge nosedive, and then it ended up getting canceled. That's what I heard. I don't know. One of these days I'll actually read the whole story for myself and figure it out. Whether or not I collect more is yet to be determined. Moving on though, we have Frieren, volumes 1 through 8, which is another series that is pretty popular. I think most of you, if you're really into anime and manga, especially the newer stuff, you've probably heard of or watched it, or maybe even been reading it. Hard to collect. Don't know why. The volumes are constantly out of stock, especially volume 4. This one, much like that Dragon Ball Super volume, was extremely hard for me to track down and get a hold of. Like, I don't know why, but I love this series. The anime for this, I don't want to gas it too much, but what I'm about to say is probably gonna gas it. Frieren might have made its way into like one of my top 10 favorite anime. I'm not gonna lie, I like it that much. It's about this elf girl who, since she's an elf, she lives for a very long time. And the story starts off with her going on this adventure with these characters that you see right here. But they don't live nearly as long as her. You have this guy, Himo, who's a human. He's also human. That guy is a troll or something. I forget exactly what his species is. So he lives a decent long time, not as long as her, but they all start getting old and dying off. And then she's like, hey, like, I didn't really appreciate and cherish the bonds and like the time I spent with these people. And so as they all start, dying of old age and everything, she's still very much in her youth and looks exactly the same. And she starts off on a new adventure with a new group of friends who she is cherishing and appreciating and everything like that. And it's really, really cool. I would say it's like a slice of life adventure series, fantasy, a little bit of action. It's not an action series per se, but when there is action, it's really, really good. At least as far as the anime goes. I haven't started actually reading the manga yet for myself, but I'm very much looking forward to it because, like I said, I enjoy the anime for this a lot, and I will be buying and collecting every volume and watching every season. Moving on, we have Full Metal Alchemist, volumes 1 through 27. I own the box set for this, so it's the complete series, including the light novel for The Ties That Bind, which to this day, I've never read the light novel. Again, maybe one day I will, but up to this point I haven't. But Full Metal Alchemist is an incredible story, a great series, one of the all-time greats. It's not a series that I personally have in my top 10 favorites, but I do like and appreciate it quite a bit. And I don't blame anybody who has it in their top 10 or top 5, or even as their all-time favorite, because it is that good. Just for me, there's just certain series that I have more attachment to, or that I thought were a little more interesting or cooler or more fun or whatever, but I got nothing but respect for Full Metal Alchemist. Then we have High School of the Dead, volumes 1 through 7. First and foremost, rest in peace to Daisuke Sato. He passed away some years ago now, and so that's unfortunate. Not only because of, obviously, the loss of his life, but also because that means that this story will never be concluded. High School of the Dead is one of those series that I really liked when I was younger, and I still do like, and I still consider it like one of my favorites. And it's just a shame. The anime ends off on a part where it's like, okay, oh boy, I can't wait to see the next season. I think that even at the end of the anime, they say, I'll see you guys for season 2. And season 2 never came because there was like a lot of things happened, like illness, disasters in Japan. There was just a lot going on at that time. And so it just kind of never really, it never really got concluded. There was never season 2. There was never more of the manga. The manga does go on a little bit further than the anime does. And I enjoy the content that we see, and I would love to see it animated, but that'll probably never actually happen. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate. Rest in peace, Daisuke Sato. I'll always enjoy High School of the Dead, I think. Then moving on, we have Hikaru no Go, volumes 1 through 23. A series that you wouldn't expect to be as exciting as it is because it's a sports series, but the sport in question is a board game known as Go. And you wouldn't think you would get as hyped and excited as I did reading this, but I did. You feel me? So, and this was also illustrated by Takeshi Obata, who is the illustrator who did Death Note, as well as several other series. But yeah, I collected this partially for that reason. Like, Hikaru no Go is one of those series I remember watching back in the day, like on Toonami, and I wanted to collect it anyway. But also the added incentive was, oh, it's also illustrated by Takeshi Obata, who's like one of my favorite artists. So yeah. It's really good, highly recommend it. I think it's a little bit hard to find these days though, because it's getting older and I don't think it's currently in print. So it's somewhat rare, but if you can get your hands on it, I definitely recommend it. Some of you guys are just gonna read stuff online anyway, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, then moving on, we have Horimiya Volume 1, and then as we move on over here, also my legs are definitely getting a workout today doing this video. We have Volumes 2 through 16, which is the entire series of Horimiya. Another series that I got into because of the anime, and I watched that with my girl and we liked it a lot, and it became one of my new favorite series. And you know, it's funny. I got a comment a while back of somebody saying like, man, this guy just has everything in his top 10, like every series he's ever read, every anime he's ever watched, it's all top 10 series. It's like, or the actual explanation is that, funnily enough, believe it or not, as I'm presented with new series, new things make their way into the top 10. Imagine that. Imagine the more you read and watch a medium, certain series replace others as one of your favorites. Crazy concept, I know, but yeah, Horimiya is one of those series that did that, and I haven't finished reading the manga, but the anime is really, really good, and I like it a lot. Romance slice of life series that I found really relatable and really enjoyable in a lot of different ways, so we have that. Then we have Komi Can't Communicate, super adorable series about a girl named Komi who has like a lot of anxiety and doesn't really speak too much, and she meets a boy who's very nice and sweet and encouraging, and they start to get along and everything like that, trying to help her learn to communicate and be social and everything like that. And I think it's nice. It's really nice, super sweet, super wholesome, highly recommend it. Then we have LotusAsakura, 4-volume series illustrated by Jinsei Kitaoka and written by, I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, Tomohiro Miyakawa. I might have butchered that. My Japanese is, well, I don't speak Japanese, so. But yeah, it's pretty good. Very short, sweet, and simple series. Well, it's not super simple, but I could read you the blurb better than I could explain it to you. Every soul has a plan, but if you stray from your destined path, your soul stone, called a cyclolith, becomes tainted and shatters, bringing misfortune to all that encounter it. The mission of the uptight Sakurai and free spirit Amano, agents of a company called LotusAsakura, is to find souls in danger of straying and keep them pure. If your life seems to be flying off the rails and everything just seems wrong, you'd better hope this odd couple finds you in time to put events back on course, because if they're too late, they might just have to help you along your journey to the next life. And yeah, it's not a series that I feel like I can talk too much about because it's so short. I think you just have to read it for yourself, because I don't really want to spoil it or say too much about what goes on. But you get an idea of what it's about from that blurb, and I think it's worth a read, especially at only 4 volumes. Then we have My Hero Academia, which everybody knows My Hero at this point. It's crazy to think that this story's ending, bro, because I've been collecting this since the very beginning. Like, this got to be the first print, right? Like, hold on, can I find the page here? Hold this open properly. Yeah, first printing, August 2015, which is not like super crazy because I mean, that's not even a full 10 years, but you know, I've just been following the story from the very beginning, and I started collecting it right when it came out in English. And it's ending, you know what I mean? That's just so crazy because this might be is this the first time like I got into a series at the very start? Like a long running series that I was there for the very beginning and I'm there for the ending. Cause like I followed Naruto for a very long time, but I wasn't like reading Naruto when it first came out, you know what I mean? But I was there for when it ended. But something like this, like I think this is the first time I've really been able to like experience that. And this is, I don't know, this is kind of crazy. I know people have like mixed feelings about My Hero. It's a story that I've always enjoyed and liked quite a lot. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to think. I think it only has like maybe 1 chapter left at the time I'm recording this before it officially ends. And I just, it's just crazy to think. But we have volume 1 through 37 here. And you can see I have this Naruto Rogue Ninja headband here. Let me just move that to the side because here we have my Naruto volumes. So we have 2 copies of volume 1. The reason why I have 2 copies is because I bought volume 1 individually when I first started collecting manga. But when I got serious about it, I bought all 3 Naruto box sets. So I ended up with an extra copy of volume 1. And then, let me scoot back a little bit. We have 10 through 27. Also, we have this sealed copy of Naruto Ninja Council for the GBA. Let me just go ahead and move that out of the way real quick. 1 through 27, which is all of part 1. And then you get into volumes 28 all the way through 72, which is the rest of part 2. Also up here, we have the Itachi story light novels, which are pretty cool. But yeah, like Naruto is one of those series I don't have to say too much, but regardless of what anybody says, how anybody feels, this is one of those series like a Dragon Ball to me, where its influence, how iconic it is, its impact, and especially what it means to me on a nostalgic and sentimental level, it just can't really be overstated. And this will be a series that I will always love, will always be one of my favorites. And yeah, I just so many feelings and like emotions when I think of Naruto, man, and how I followed this story for so long and like what it means to me and everything like that. But yeah, very similarly, as with Volume 1, I have 2 copies of Volume 72 because when the story ended back in 2014, the instant it was available in English, I went to the store and bought it. But then once that 3rd box set became available, I bought the entire box set, so I ended up with 2 copies. Then we also have the 7th Hokage and the Scarlet Spring manga that came out, which was pretty cool. And yeah, man, if I get too deep into talking about Naruto, that'll be 30 minutes of the video by itself, so we're gonna move on. But I'll always have a lot of love and appreciation for Naruto. Moving on, One Punch Man, volumes 1 through 3. Then up here we have volumes 4 through 12. A series I got into like, years ago at this point, but had just never kept up with. And then also you'll see we have some Pokemon stuff here. Let me just get that out of the way in just a moment. But yeah, I have these boxes for the original Pokemon games, which I do actually own. I own like all 6 games from the first 2 generations of Pokemon. But for now, we're just gonna move that to the side. Yeah, One Punch Man volumes 1 through 12, Platinum Man 1 through 13, and then we have some Pokemon volumes, which is why I have those on the shelf. OPM is good. It's just not a series that I keep up with. Platinum N, super polarizing series that was written and illustrated by the same duo who gave us Death Note, which was, to me, the biggest appeal to it. And a lot of people have mixed feelings on the story. I think it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. For those of you who are aware or familiar with Future Diary, basically, imagine if Future Diary was written by the people who did Death Note. That's what this is. Same concept. It's not the same story. Like, it's not just Future Diary by the Death Note creators. But I mean, it's like that same concept, that same type of story. That's what this is, where you have all these different humans competing to become the next god. And I think it's really cool. The covers, the spines are really, really dope. And if nothing else, regardless of how people feel about the story, everybody universally agrees that this has some of the craziest artwork ever. Like, I love the art in Platinum End so much. As far as artwork goes, it might be my favorite. I don't know. I have to think about it. But it definitely was, like, at the time when it first started coming out, I was like, this is the most beautiful manga I've ever read. But I just love Takeshi Obata's style. Ooh, your boy's starting to run out of breath. I ain't gonna lie. We've been recording for damn near 30 minutes now. I also tend to talk really fast when I get excited, and that just tires me out even more. But here we have the Pokemon Adventures manga, which I think is pretty good. I've never read past volume 14 because I only ever read like the first 2 generations, so like Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal. Yeah, the Pokemon Adventure manga is really, really cool. I should read more of it one of these days, but I just never cared to check out anything past the 2nd generation. Then down here, you'll see I have the boxes for Red and Blue, or Blue and Red, I guess, considering the order I have them in. We'll just go ahead and move those up out of the way real quick. But yeah, there we have 11 through 14. And then we have Ralgrad, which is another series written by Takeshi Obata. So Blue Dragon Ralgrad, again, 4-volume series. It's mid, I ain't gonna lie. That's the best way to put it. It's just some mid. It's a series that I got into, that I checked out simply because it was illustrated by Takeshi Obata. Like I said earlier, he's just one of my favorite artists, and I really appreciate his artwork and everything. So anything he drew, I was kind of willing to check out. And it's not terrible, but I wouldn't really recommend it. That's just me. Then we have Rurouni Kenshin, which volumes 1 through 28, the complete series. And Rurouni Kenshin is honestly my favorite manga of all time. And I cannot express enough how much I disagree with Nobuhiro Watsuki and his actions in the past, and how horrible of a person I think that makes him. And for a very long time, I had this really hard internal conflict, this struggle I dealt with about, like, can I even claim this as my favorite series anymore? Should I just like destroy these volumes? Do I sell it? Like, should I say something else is my favorite? Like, you know what I mean? Because this series I thought was so good and it means so much to me, and because it was my all-time favorite, like when the news came out about him basically being attracted to little girls, for those of you who don't know, I would just go ahead and say it. That was one of the things where, like, that was like world shattering for me, you know what I'm saying? Like that, and I don't like put people on pedestals and anything like that, but it was just like, because of what this series means to me, it was like, yo, I don't know how to act now. Like, I don't know what to do. Eventually, after years of dealing with this conflict, I realized that I just have to separate the art from the artist, and just, I can still appreciate this series for what it is and what it means to me and how much I've always enjoyed it and loved it and you know, admired it over the years, but I don't have to support him any further or anything that he does or produces or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, and that's basically where I'm at with that. I know not everybody will agree with that, and if you don't, that's okay. We can agree to disagree. If you feel where I'm coming from, then I appreciate it. But it just is what it is. I think Rurouni Kenshin is one of the greatest manga ever made, and it's a shame that it was made by somebody who is such a terrible person. But yeah, I don't want to dwell on it too long. It is what it is. I made my peace with it a while back, and so that's just how I move. And but I don't blame anybody who doesn't feel that way, who won't ever read it, who will never buy it. Like that's valid. That's 100% valid. I don't blame you at all. I feel you. But yeah, volumes 1 through 28. Then down here we have some Shaman King volumes and some other stuff. So that's why I have brand new sealed copies of Shaman King Legacy of Spirits. We have the Soaring Hawk and Sprinting Wolf. So I'm gonna just go ahead and move those out of the way. But yeah, here we have Sailor Moon 1 through 12. Sailor Moon, one of the most classic, iconic series of all time. If you ain't never checked out Sailor Moon, I low-key say you're missing out. Sailor Moon it became as big as it is for a reason. I know the memes are like, oh, this is Dragon Ball for girls, but fellas can appreciate this too. I think Sailor Moon is dope. I mean, y'all see me, I be rocking Sailor Moon shirts all the time. I like Sailor Moon a lot. If you never checked that out, check it out. Give it a chance. I think a lot of people would really enjoy it if you never have. Granted, it's super mega popular, so most people are aware of Sailor Moon or have read or watched it to some degree. But if you never have, then you should do it. And then we have Samurai Champloo, volumes 1 and 2. This is another one of those series where the manga came after the anime. The anime is better. I don't really recommend it. But as a Champloo fan, I got it just because. Then we have Surf of the End 1 through 7, which is a series that I got on a bundle deal a while back. I got like all 7 volumes for like $30. I like the Surf of the End anime. What I read of the manga, I enjoy. I never bought more. No real reason why. Just not a series I ever finished collecting or kept up with. Yeah, it's cool. I really like the aesthetic and everything. The story is, it's not like incredible, but it's good enough. I like the characters, whatever. But I just never kept up with it. Then we have Shaman King, one of my all-time favorite series for sure. I mean, y'all see what I'm saying? My last name is Asakura for a reason, but y'all know about that. And then down here on this next shelf, we have the rest of the volumes, as well as Master of Spirits 1 and 2, brand new sealed copies for that for the GBA. Let me go ahead and move those up out of the way. And your boy's getting a squats in today. I have to go up and down these shelves, man, let me tell you. But here we have volumes 10 through 32, and then we also have 1 through 6 of Shaman King Flowers, which I can't believe we live in a day and age where we have Shaman King Flowers in English. Did not think that was ever going to happen, but here we are, man. Shaman King Flowers is the sequel series to Shaman King that follows the story of the kids of the main characters. So kind of like Boruto, I guess, in a sense, if that helps you think about what it is. And I like it. I like it a lot. Then we have A Silent Voice 1 through 7, which is a complete series. And A Silent Voice is an interesting series, not only because the story is incredible, but this is a story that when the 7th volume came out in English, I remember going to my local Books A Million and being like, okay, let me check this out. I picked up volume 1, read it, loved it, and then proceeded to read the entire series all in one sitting while I was sitting at my Books A Million. And then when the movie came out like the following year, maybe like 2 years later, I thought it was cinema, masterpiece. A Silent Voice is a beautiful story, and the movie is something that I put on par with like the Shinkai films, which are like my favorite anime movies. So like Garden of Words, Your Name, stuff like that. Yeah, A Silent Voice is up there with stuff like that for me. Then we have, moving back over to this shelf, Slam Dunk Volume 1 through 31, and that is the complete series of Slam Dunk. And Slam Dunk is a series I would say is my second favorite manga of all time. For a while, when I was like, nah, I don't rock with Rurouni Kenshin no more, like I don't fuck with that, I was telling myself that this was my new favorite series, and I like it a lot. It's a very close second, but it is second. But I'm a huge basketball fan, for those of you who don't know, and I think Takehiko Inoue created one of the all-time greatest series ever when it comes to this. Follows the story of Hanamichi Sakuragi, who is a delinquent that ends up becoming a basketball player, and he's really bad at first, but through the sheer power of determination and hard work and just willpower, he becomes really, really good. And yeah, there's a lot of draws to this series for me. Obviously, Takehiko Inoue is like, one of those like godfathers of manga, you know what I mean? The artwork is incredible. The story is really good. I love basketball. Obviously, if you know anything about basketball, you can immediately tell that their uniforms are inspired by the Chicago Bulls. And then also, speaking of the Chicago Bulls and, 80s, 90s influence and everything like that, they wear 80s and 90s sneakers in this series. And well, as y'all know, I'm like a really big sneaker collector. Also, wait, real quickly, let's roll over here. We have this pair of shoes right here as well, which is a pair of Air Jordan 6s that are actually the special Slam Dunk edition. These came out, damn, was it 2013, 2014? And to commemorate the anniversary of Slam Dunk. But yeah, these are a pair of Slam Dunk Air Jordan 6s that are still brand new that I've never worn. And I buy all of my shoes with the intention of wearing them, but this is the one pair in my collection that I've never worn and I might not ever wear. Because this is just like, these really are just like a display piece to me. Like, I don't know. The thing is with sneakers like this is that if you don't wear them, they eventually start to age and fall apart, because they just deteriorate in a way. Like, shoes actually last longer if you wear them more. But I just can't bring myself to do it, man. One day, maybe one day, but I don't know. But yeah, Slam Dunk, all-time favorite series. The main character wears a pair of Jordan 6s for the majority of the series. That's why they made a pair of 6s. But eventually, which volume is it? Can I show? He ends up wearing a pair of Bread Jordan 1s, which is my all-time favorite sneaker that I also own a pair of. But yeah, basketball series, highly recommended. One of the greatest of all time. One of the most popular and best-selling of all time as well. So I'm sure even if you never read it, you know about it, you heard about it, because it is that, that big and that popular. But yeah, man, I love Slam Dunk so much. It damn near might be time for a reread. I ain't gonna lie. Thinking about it, like, hey man, I might have to go ahead and go ahead and crack over volume 1 real quick for the one time. You feel me? But yes, there. Moving on, we have Soul Eater volume 1 through 25, which is the complete series of Soul Eater. So this is one of those series that I haven't actually read. I started reading it. I'm up to volume 4, but to this, like, was it last year? Was it last year I collected the entire series? I think it was last year. It might have been the year before that. My sense of time is non-existent. But I had never collected the manga before. I've seen the anime. I love the anime. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Soul Eater fan. But I had just never read the whole manga. And I'm very excited to get further into it because, well, obviously there's so much more content in the manga than there was in the anime. And I never was a big fan of how the anime ended. So I can't wait to see the rest of what Soul Eater has to offer, because I've only ever heard good things about it for the last decade or so. So yeah, Soul Eater, I don't gotta talk too much. Spy Family, volume 1 through 10. Love this series a lot. Spy Family is another one of those series that could be one of my new favorites. I don't know. Like, I really gotta sit down one of these days and think about what are like my top 10 favorite like manga all time, favorite like ongoing series, and my top 10 favorite anime. But I love Spy Family. Yor has become one of my all-time favorite anime characters and like waifu characters, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's if you don't know what it is, I think most of you do, because Spy Family is like mega popular. Like, I think everybody knows about it. But yeah, this guy right here, Lloyd, aka Agent Twilight, who is a super spy that is on this very convoluted mission where he has to start a fake family. So he gets this little girl named Anya, who's a telepath. Then you have this assassin named Yor. She doesn't know Lloyd's an assassin, or that Lloyd's a spy, and Lloyd doesn't know that she's an assassin. So there's a whole dynamic, like they're having this fake marriage in this family with Anya. Oh, and neither of them know that she's a telepath. So just imagine the dynamic and the hijinks that go on in the missions and everything. It's really cool. I like it a lot. Slice of life, adventure, action, like, you know what I'm saying? It's great. It's really, really great. I enjoy it quite a lot, but not as much as I enjoy this series right here, Twin Star Exorcist. This is another story like My Hero, where I've been here from the very beginning, and it's crazy to me that it's about to end, you know? I actually like this way more than My Hero, and like I said, this has been, for like the last decade, basically, my favorite ongoing series. When Naruto ended, this came out in English, I want to say like 2015, right? Like the same year as My Hero, I want to say. Does it tell you here? It might be at the back, like some volumes are. Let me not spoil you guys if you've never read it. Because I'm pretty sure this is the first printing. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I picked it up right when it came out. Yeah, first printing July 2015. So, this is a story that follows these two characters right here, Rokuro and Benio, who are the Twin Star Exorcists. And so basically, they are destined to get married and give birth to the child of prophecy, who will cleanse the world of Kegare, which are the demons that are, you know, threatening to destroy the world, basically, like these like monsters from another world called Magano. And yeah, and they start off like not liking each other, you know what I'm saying, as you could expect from a shonen series. And then they start to develop feelings for each other. And like their relationship and their dynamic is something that I love a lot. Low-key reminds me of Shaman King in some ways, but it's really, really good. I don't want to gas it up too much, but it's hard for me not to, because it's one of my favorites. But shonen, battle, action, adventure, romance, you know what I'm saying? yeah, just give it a chance. If you've never read Twin Star, please give it a chance, bro. It's so good. I swear it is. If you like any of the stuff that I like, you'll love this. If you've watched the anime is not the same story. It's, man, I can't believe this is ending. I can't believe this is ending. We gonna move on, because I'll again, like, this is one of those series, like, if I start talking, we're gonna be here all day. And just know that I think it's really, really good. So we have volumes 1 through 30. Then we have We Never Learned 1 through 21, which is the complete series. And this is a romance, ecchi, harem series. It's kind of like guilty pleasure kind of thing, you know what I mean? But it's probably my favorite ever from that genre. So again, if you like what I like, you'll really enjoy this. Really cool thing about We Never Learned as well. So it's about this kid who is like not like a super genius or anything like that, but he's like really hardworking, very earnest, and studies really, really hard. And so he ends up having to tutor these girls who are like, yeah, there's one girl who's like really good at English but really bad at like math, and then vice versa with another girl. Then one girl who's just like really athletic and really into sports and swimming, but she's like terrible academically. And so he's tutoring all of them, whatever. And then obviously that comes with what you would expect. And then there's another girl that gets involved, and another girl that gets involved. And the really cool part about it is that not only is it really, really funny and really enjoyable, it's something I like a lot, but also the author did an ending for what it would be like if he ends up with any of the girls in the series. So there is like a true canon ending, in my opinion, which is basically the one that he did first. But then there are like several extra endings that he wrote and drew that show what it would have been like if he ended up with any of the other girls. So I think that's really, really cool. You might not like that, maybe you do. Somebody might see that as like pandering, or I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really cool. That's just me. Then we're finally almost toward the end, dog. I've been recording for what feels like almost an hour. My legs and my knees is killing me. I ain't gonna lie. We have Your Lie in April, volumes 1 through 11. Yeah, this was a series that for me at one point was a top 10. Is it still? I don't know. Maybe, probably. The stories to follow. Man, can you tell I'm tired? Follows the story of Kosei Arima, who becomes, actually was a really skilled pianist who stopped playing piano until he meets this girl right here, who comes into his life and changes his whole world. And I always wanted to learn how to play piano growing up as a kid, and it's not something that I ever did until I watched the Your Lie in April anime. The anime was so good, and I've read the manga too, and I loved every bit of it just as much as the anime. But the anime was so good and like so inspiring and just like so impactful on me that I went out, bought a keyboard, and started teaching myself to play piano after I watched it. And I kept up with that for maybe about a year before I kind of like fell off and didn't keep practicing. But it did that for me, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have like this grand story of like how I became like this really talented pianist because I watched Your Lie in April, but it inspired me to go that far, which is further than I had ever gone before. So it was really, really cool. I highly recommend it. Love Your Lie in April. Probably still one of my all-time favorite series. And speaking of all-time favorite series, you know, we got Yu Yu Hakusho here, the complete series. So here we have 1 through 7 on this shelf. Oh boy. And then moving up over here, we have 8 through 19. And you can see I also have like this manga sampler from 2019, which I think I got at, what was that, Anime Expo? They were giving those out for free, so I got that. But Yu Yu Hakusho is one of the GOATs. We also have the Spirit Detective GBA game, sealed copy, and then same thing goes for Tournament Tactics, as well as like some boxes for some figures and stuff, and then like a Kurama Nendoroid. On this shelf I have a bunch of like miscellaneous things. We also have like a bunch of old, you know, Dragon Ball, Naruto games, and you know what I'm saying, go ahead and get your little looky-loo what we got going on here. Like I said, a bunch of like random stuff. But yeah, man, Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the all-time greats. Probably my second favorite anime of all time. The manga, I don't know if I have the manga in my top 10, not because the manga is bad or that it's like significantly worse than the anime, but I do think Yu Yu Hakusho's anime is one of those few that I do put actually higher than the manga, kind of like Demon Slayer. But yeah, man, I just one of the greats. I mean, y'all see it. I got these Yu Yu Hakusho skate decks back here in the office. So we got, you know what I'm saying, and also you see all the stuff I have on top of these shelves. Like I just got all type of just random clutter in this office. But hey, every single thing in this office means a lot to me, man. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't have a lot of this if it wasn't for you guys supporting this content and what I do and everything. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I do for a living, and that's how I'm able to afford all this stuff that makes me so happy and helps me, you know, capture that childhood nostalgia and enjoy the, man, it's, let me move on before I start getting all sentimental, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not the end of the collection. We do have a few more volumes to get to, so let's actually swing over here real quick to this final shelf that we have, where we have Kuroko's Basketball volumes 1 through 30, which are 2-in-1 omnibus volumes that I just recently collected earlier this year. Kuroko's Basketball is an anime that I love a lot. Never read the manga, but I'm looking forward to jumping into that one point because, as we went through with Slam Dunk, I love basketball. So yeah, I actually have a brand new YouTube channel that I made where I talk all about basketball. I know it's a bit random and late to throw that in here, but if you're interested at all, maybe that'll be linked in the description down below if you want to check that out. And then we have Shaman King, the brand new 3-in-1 omnibuses from Kodansha, but I only have the first 2. I was just so excited and like overjoyed when Shaman King came back that I was like, yeah, I'm just buying everything. Figures, the manga. I own the entire series and still started buying the manga, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, just with different covers, and it's 3-in-1s, which these are pretty good 3-in-1s, but I don't even like omnibuses and I still bought these. Can you tell how big of a fanboy I am? Not the smartest decisions with my money, but there's a reason I stopped after the second one. Then we have some more like signature stuff from Viz. We have All You Need Is Kill, Solanin, one of my all-time favorite series from Inio Asano. Highly recommend this. One of like, every single time somebody asks me for a manga recommendation, I always recommend Solanin because I think it's like, for one, I think a lot of people would find it very relatable. And 2, I wouldn't say it's like underrated or unpopular, but it's not like a Naruto or My Hero or Dragon Ball, you know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody in the world has heard of this or read this. Like, people who are really into manga, they probably have, because Inio Asano is one of those names where people like know that and they read his works. But yeah, it's just, if you're looking for a manga recommendation from me, out of everything in my collection, Solanin is probably the one I'd recommend the most. Then similarly, we have another series from him called Downfall, which I also recommend. I like Solanin a lot more, but this is still really, really good. And then Bocchi the Rock. Yeah, I'm a big Bocchi fan. I enjoy that anime quite a lot. We'll be collecting more of that manga. And then here we have some Japanese volumes and some Shaman King stuff, including Flowers, because I bought this like years ago, not thinking that we would ever get this in English, and then we did, so who'd have thunk it? And then The Garden of Words, which is the manga version of my favorite movie of all time. And then this is the box for A Silent Voice, and then Horror Me and Android, and then we have like some stuff over here, and those aren't manga, but yeah, man, whew, finally, we did it. Oh my god, I can end this video. My legs is killing me. And so, there we have it. By my count, that is 745 volumes of manga, which is way more than I ever thought I would own. When I first started collecting, I was like, yeah, I don't want to have like this big 1,000-volume collection, and if it gets there one day, then cool, but like that's not my goal. And I guess it kind of is how it went, and I'm still a decent ways away from 1,000, but to think that I currently own almost 750 volumes is kind of nuts, because when I first started collecting, I just wanted all this stuff from when I was a kid, and then there were a couple of series that were new and cool, and well, here we are almost 10 years later and 700 something volumes later. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. It was definitely exhausting to record, but hey man, I know y'all wanted it, so for those of you who did stick through the entire thing, I greatly appreciate it, and hopefully y'all did enjoy every second of it. But with that, I'm beat, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all this content that I'm bringing you. And with all that being said, this is pretty much off today, and remember, nothing can happen to you swing the bat. Later.